Hey guys, it's Saturn here, and welcome to 2020, specifically the Pokemon Direct Review 2020. I've been doing these for 2 or 3 years now, back since when Moltres and Articuno first announced, and we have a lot to talk about today to do with Pokemon news. We've got a completely new main series expansion, we've got a new side series game which has been long awaited for, and the Pokemon Home system, which is a kind of sequel to Pokemon Bank, or a successor of, which will allow you to take your Pokemon into Sword and Shield, I think. Right then, let's get started. Well, before we do, we usually don't actually do this so early on in the year. Usually they have directs in February or even back in 2017 in June. So it's kind of surprising to be able to do one in early January, and so it's quite fun to see though. But Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team Deluxe. This is a remake of the original Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue Rescue Team, released on the Game Boy Advance and DS respectively. It seems to be a remake of a complete one-for-one remake from what I've seen, except for the fact that it's using the Switch graphics and it has a few more Pokemon added in. You can have the Pokemon that you are chosen as by the quiz. I don't know much about Mystery Dungeon, so I'm afraid I don't know anything about it really, so I'm afraid I'm just going to go off what we saw in the trailer. But you get turned into a Pokemon, from what I can see, from what it seems to be. And there seems to be the first 3 generations of Pokemon, with a few others, like I have seen images of Sylveon and Mega Evolutions, but I haven't seen anything past the first 3 generations, plus evolutions or new forms of Pokemon from the first 3 generations. You can also get ranks. I'm assuming that's for rewards. I'm assuming that's something that's been in the whole series. But yeah, ranks like a bit like levels in the main series and in Pokemon Go, I assume. But now moving on to the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass, which is the new main series games for this year, possibly. We might get something new as well as this possibly Iron Pokédex, but I've got no idea. Nobody really does. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But for now, we've got this. You get 2 brand new areas because it comes in 2 parts of the DLC. The Isle of Armor on the right and the Crown Tundra on the left. These 2 areas seem to be new wild areas where you can control the camera and have Pokemon Max Raid battles, which I'm really enjoying in Sword and Shield at the moment. A brand new Pokemon form that's been found in the Isle of Armor is Galarian Slowpoke, and you can actually get this Pokemon now in Pokemon Sword and Shield by going to Wedgehurst Station after getting the update. But I really like the design of this Pokemon. It's not very it hasn't changed much, other than the fact that it's lost its water type to be pure Psychic, and from what we've seen of Galarian Slowbro and Slowking, it seems to become a Poison Ghost or a Poison Psychic type. Who knows? Psychic Ghost maybe? But its ability is also Gluttony and Own Tempo, which is interesting as well, because that's different to what we had before. We also have a brand new legendary Pokemon in the form of Kubfu. It's a fighting type and it has the ability Inner Focus. You are given it by your mentor Mustard, who we'll go over later on in the video, at some point during the Isle of Armor experience, and it will at some point evolve into Urshifu, either Single Strike or Rapid Strike style, depending on the choices you make, not depending on the version you bought. Single Strike style is fighting and Dark type, and both forms have the new ability Unseen Fist. Rapid Strike style is fighting Water type. I'm not entirely sure what other differences there'll be, but I guess we'll have to find out soon. And in the Crown Tundra, I know that image says the Isle of Armor, it's the wrong image, you can find Calyrax, which is a new Psychic and Grass legendary with the ability Unnerve. And it seems to be the mascot legendary of the Sword and Shield expansion pass, along with Urshifu. Like, on the website it says this is the Pokemon you'll find in the packaging, but on the cards that we've seen, like the game download cards, has both Single Strike Urshifu and Calyrax. New characters have also been found in the games, including Avery, who is your rival in Pokemon Shield expansion pass for the Isle of Armor, and he seems to be an upcoming Psychic-type gym leader as well. I'm not entirely sure what else there really is to him, because he's wearing the psychic uniform which you can purchase in the game, making us all originally think, oh look, other gym leaders. But apparently he's a rival and he's training to be a gym leader, and I'm really thinking at the end that's what will happen, he'll just become a gym leader. And in Pokemon Sword you have Clara, who is the poison type gym leader of the games. And well, future poison type gym leader. And she and Avery will both be with you in the Isle of Armor. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but they are version exclusive. Mustard is your mentor in the Isle of Armor, and he is the longest reigning champion of Galar. He held the title of champion for 18 years, and it's likely that Leon was his successor, and we know he trained Leon as well. Interesting to see him. I'm not entirely sure what to make of him yet, and what will really happen with him. I'm interested to see how his character develops and what he'll actually do, whether he's like a professor or whether he's like, I don't know, just another champion trainer or a rival or something, who knows. Character customization has gone a lot further in the expansion pack. You can see the male trainers can use the Chairman Rose uniform, which is really awesome, and Chairman Rose hairstyle, as well as wearing some new trousers, I think. I don't think I saw the Ice Cube ones before. And also the hats, which is Leon's hat from the game. And the female trainers can have the Marnie uniform. I'm not entirely sure. In my opinion, it looks a bit weird, the Marnie uniform. And but there's also some new hairstyle for the female trainers, which similar to the Team Yell grunts. And we did actually see a male Team Yell grunt hairstyle, which is like a mohawk, which is interesting as well. Also, we have some new Gigantamax Pokemon, including Rillaboom. And there's not really much to put here because nothing's really changed other than the sound of his drums. And we've heard another regions apparently. And he has a whole drum set now, and his vine hair thing has drumsticks on it, so he can play all the drums at once, which is interesting. As somebody who recently got a drum set, I'm not entirely sure why you'd want to play all your drums at once, but okay. Cinderace has also got new Gigantamax form. It can deliver powerful kicking moves which can topple over other Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon. It basically got longer ears and is now standing on a giant pyro wall, which it looks awesome, let's face it, but it just doesn't change that much. Well, none of them really do. And Gigantamax Inteleon, as they've announced it in the trailer for the games, can easily hit Pokemon that are 15 kilometers away with its new sniper rifle, I assume. We're not entirely sure what's going on with it, but it gets a longer tail, and it looks to be standing on a geyser, and it seems to be, from what I've seen, a lot of people are comparing it to the cat on a sniper tower meme, which was quite funny, because Gigantamax Meowth also is a remake of the long cat meme, so I don't know what Game Freak has to do with cat memes at the moment, but it's whatever. Okay, we have two brand new Regi Pokémon in the Crown Tundra. These Pokemon, the Regi Pokémon, were originally introduced in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire back in 2002, and got a leader in the form of Regi Gigas in 2006 in Diamond and Pearl. And now, almost 15 years later, after Regi Gigas was released, we're getting what I'm dubbing Regisurge and Regidrake, which are the two brand new Regi Pokemon which will be appearing in the games. We have an electric type and a dragon type. I'm really quite excited for it. Their tomb looks like this. This is one of the only screens of gameplay we actually have. It looks really awesome, and I really am quite excited to see how this plays out. We have actually seen the other Regi Pokemon's tombs. For instance, we saw Regice's tomb, which is a 1-for-1 recreation, well, all three of them are 1-for-1 recreations of their tomb in Pokemon Platinum version, which I think is really awesome, and also could hint towards Sinnoh remakes being possible, because 3D remakes of the original tombs from Platinum, even to go so far as those statue things that held the Regis inside or something, because I haven't finished that past Platinum yet. And those seem to be recreated in the concept art that you can just see above that, which is really awesome, and I really am looking forward to challenging the Regi Pokémon once again. Lysandre and Ghetsis get references in the Crown Tundra as well, as you get new customization options featuring their eyewear. And I just thought that was really awesome, and I hope that that means to be like Guzma's top or something. That would be awesome as well. 200 of the original Pokemon that were not in the game are returning to make a full Galar region Pokédex of over 600 Pokemon. The largest regional dex I think we've ever had. Now, while it isn't the national dex, we're still missing 200 Pokemon or so. It's better than what we had. I've just finished the Galar Pokédex, and I don't see any Pokemon that I feel needed to be in there that weren't, but I am looking forward to getting all these Pokemon in. The top right corner is the ones that are all going to be introduced in the Isle of Armor, along with a lot of others, including the Psyduck line and the Slowpoke line, obviously. And in the bottom left corner you can see the Crown Tundra Pokemon, like Garchomp and Cryogonal, who knows. And we also have Galarian forms, or Mega Evolutions, or Gigantamax, who knows, of the original legendary Pokemon, Moltres, Zapdos and Articuno, and they look absolutely awesome. The original legendary Pokemon, the original versions of all three, they looked cool, let's face it, Moltres did not look very cool in the original versions. Zapdos and Articuno look better, Articuno probably looked the best of the three of them, but now they all look absolutely awesome, and they seem to have new typings as well. So Moltres would be probably a Dark and Fire type, Zapdos a Electric Flying or an Electric Dragon type maybe, and Articuno either an Ice Psychic or an Ice Steel type. And I just think they look really awesome, and I much prefer them to the versions that we got back in Gen 1. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, both areas in the DLC will be open world wild areas with raid dens, meaning that you can control the camera, you can experience a proper seamless Pokemon game and get a taste of what we might be able to get next year or in Generation 9 down the line. I'm really excited because this is what I wanted Sword and Shield to be originally, and this could be absolutely incredible. We also got 2 more Gigantamax Pokemon to be announced. Gigantamax Venusaur. Now it's interesting because back when the Gigantamax trailer for all the Gen 1 Pokemon got announced, a lot of people were mad that Charizard was the only starter from Kanto getting a Gigantamax. They've remedied that. We're not entirely sure what's going on with Venusaur and Blastoise's Gigantamaxes, as we don't know much about them at all. But all we know is that they are going to be included in the Isle of Armor expansion pack, which is coming out in June. And they look awesome. I don't know, Venusaur, I kind of prefer the Mega Evolution, and I really do hope the Mega Evolutions return in the Isle of Armor or Crown Tundra, but that's by the by. This is an awesome version if we don't get Mega Evolutions. And Blastoise, I don't know what they did, but they made him really awesome, and I'm really looking forward to using a Gigantamax Blastoise at some point. As for Pokemon Home, all we know is that it's set for release in February now, and the Crown Tundra is released in November, the Isle of Armor is released in June. We don't know what else really is going on about them. But I am just going to say, to close off, that there is one thing I didn't put in here that I should have done really. On the Pokemon website, it makes it seem, because if you go back to the Gigantamax for the starters, for instance Cinderace, my Cinderace in Sword and Shield can't currently Gigantamax, but it said on the website that your partner is going to be able to Gigantamax. And on the website it also states that there seems to be a way to turn Pokemon that can't Gigantamax into Pokemon that can Gigantamax. For instance, I have a Colossal on my team in Pokemon Shield, and so there would be a way possibly in the Isle of Armor, this isn't confirmed, but that's what it seems to suggest on the website, for that to become a Gigantamax Colossal. Anyway, that's all I really have to say on it. I think it's awesome that we're getting all this, and I'm really looking forward to it. The Pokemon Sword and Shield Expansion Pass looks to be some of the best content that the games have to offer. But I just wish that we didn't have to pay $90 in the US or £75 here in the UK. I don't know. It's better than having to buy another £50 game, rating it up to £100 in total. But I really, until we've seen more, I'm not sure whether it'll be worth it, but I'm still going to be buying it, obviously, because it looks awesome, and I'm really excited for it, of course. Anyway, I've said enough, so I'll see you all later with a video welcoming us to 2020 and telling you what we've got planned in store for the year, and a lot more as well. See you soon. Bye.